Listen, today I wanted to talk about something pretty fun because, listen, literally in this game, you know a few things that's been set in stone. Camilla's never coming out. We're never gonna get Tower Trials revamped, and Girgach is dead. There is more, but those are some of the things, right? On the side of all of this, when it comes to character releases and everything like that, you know the core 7 Deadly Sins, you know the OC characters, you know the collab characters, you know the Ragnarok characters. When it comes to these things, there are a set of rules that Netmarble follows when they release these characters. You do not know what those rules are? If you don't, hey, guess what? I got you. Let me show you what the rules are. Basically, we'll start with catastrophes because they have something, right? Now, I want you to peer your eyes over in this direction right here. You see what race this character is? It is a human character. W. Great. Understandable. Let's move on. We now have another human character, which is Shin. We now have Valenti, a human character. We now have Roxy, a human character. We now have the same Lilia. We have Mono, a human character. We have this Mono, again, a human character. Easton, a human character. Did I get all of them now? Camilla's down there at the bottom. Chazzy never leveled her up, and he didn't pull her, so yeah, she's unknown, whatever, or human. She's one of them. I think she's unknown, but you clearly see that with OC characters, there has not been a giant, or a demon, or a goddess, or a fairy. They are stuck with the curse of being a human or a unknown character. Pretty simple, good. Now, there's more evidence. Let me show you. Alright, collabs. Let's see. We have an unknown here. We have another, what is it, human here. Unknown, unknown, human, human, unknown, unknown. You see what I mean here? They're all human and unknown. There is nothing else. The only other unit that bucked the trend was one unit, and that was a transforming unit, being Eren, who turned into a giant, right? It's still everyone else being all AOT was human, other than that one giant Eren, if you will. Then you go into the other collabs, for example. You have someone like, or rather, something like Strange Things, all human. Naofumi's collab, human and unknown team, right? That was there too. You had Slime, you had ReZero. They all were unknown. Basically, this is a trend now that every collab, every OC is just either unknown or human, and you push it. You push the boundary by setting them into the area or the realm of giant, right? That's really it. It's just, that's how it happens. It's as if these two races are just the most popular ones, and that's really it. Right? My last example I'll show you, there's only one character here that also bucked the trend, which is, again, I'll show you in a second, but Ragnarok, you have a human over here, you got an unknown over here, you got an unknown over here, you got an unknown over here, a human over here. Now this was a human and a demon character, but the only way it was a demon was via the passive. Obviously it doesn't list it here, it is a human character, but because of the passive, it can go and fall under demon race. Okay, the only character to do that until Netmarble made a change to another character, which now turned that character into a different race, and it does open up an area where maybe they care to at least do this again, or they just wanted to screw you for not summoning for the unit. Honestly, saying that out loud, I think they lean on the first one where they wanted to screw you, but still, again, unknown. Giant. Okay, you had a giant actually, which was Scotty. One giant, but then back to human, unknown, unknown, human, right? So again, human, it's the same unit. Unknown being Merlin, unknown being Thonar, Meli is his own, so that doesn't count, and then giant again, and then back to just human. But yes, as you see, they really just lean on, for some reason, unknown and human as a thing. I don't know what it is. I really haven't really gotten an idea of why. We've been on this topic for so long of why they just kind of, I don't know, they don't open up the other collabs to other races and stuff like that. It's just human unknown. When they don't know what to do, they're like, all right, screw it, slap on that unknown title, boom, you're good to go. It's really kind of weird. I really could have also seen them do Freya and Freyr as goddesses. It would have worked in whatever team comps they're trying to do, but they didn't. Okay, I see that now. Yes, they're really just different. Goddesses are definitely what goddesses are, and this is God, so I understand the differences in how they handled it, but they went out of their way, right? So you have these characters here. Now, Freyr and Freya theoretically should be the same thing, right? I'm curious when he gets his relic, what they do with his relic, and that will kind of tell you how they planned it, because they did make a change here, and when they did release a relic for Freya, guess what that was? It was a relic that turned her into a goddess, okay? The first thing we've ever seen of this type of thing, where a relic had a chance or the ability to change the race and work in a set of content for the designed character, right? It was either they did this because, oh, it makes sense, it works out, and we plan to do it for the future, or they just wanted to screw you heavily because you didn't summon on Freya, and they wanted to make you summon on Mael to later get Freya, and that's the hopes of it all. I don't get it, but around there is the realm of why they did it, and I'm curious, when we do get our next Demonic Beast character, if that is going to be Magilda this week, will she now have a relic that has to allow her to work on Goddess team, and then boom, that's her entire passive or her relic or whatever? what's going to happen? She currently already has a relic. How are they going to change that? But realize in the future of this game and how they handle everything with the next chapter, if you will, of the game being the Four Knights of Apocalypse, you're going to open up the realm of how many characters will need a dual race category, correct? They're not all just one race. Most of them, as you see, the kids of the Sins, they fall under different categories. So, for example, the main character, what are you going to do? Or side character, whatever you want to say, one of the characters, right? You have them falling under both, it's not a spoiler, you should know this by now. You should know this, like this is not a spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, just forward up 15 seconds. But Goddess race and Demon race, you know who's going to fall under there, right? So that has to happen in the future. But is this the opening? Like they're going to make a relic do it? Or is the character similar to what Sigurd is? Are they going to fall under being a passive? Where the passive allows them to work both on those set of teams, depending on what team you're running, right? So again, they also open it up if they do the collab this time. Is it going to be that just like how everyone was back then, transforms into a giant? You're going to have like Reiner, if that's what they do for this, for AOT or for whatever. Or if they open up into a different area of a new collaboration. And you potentially get demons. You potentially get goddesses. You potentially get something, right? It's so much possibility. And again, when they open up the new set of, they said, the new set of catastrophes. What's going to happen there? Are we going to finally see a first ever demon catastrophe? Are we going to see the first ever goddess catastrophe? What else? What's going to happen, right? That's where we currently stand because we're stuck in an area where it's just same, unknown, human, this is it. But, you know, if you look at team comps for goddess is currently kind of ruling a little bit, and demon was ruling, right? Now, they never get buffs. If 70 a story is all you get a buff from, is it really always the best to invest in that, you know, kind of thing? It's like unknown is just constantly refreshed with units. Though some of them might suck and though some of them have different uses, it's just the case, right? So at the end of the day, we'll see how everything happens and how they do plan in the future. But you clearly see that, you know, this was a very weird play they made, and how they kind of handled this. Though I still think the reason they released this was to screw you for not summoning originally when she was out and you had the chance to get her. They just turned her into the Demonic Beast unit. Again, is she the Demonic Beast unit? Obviously no, her passive is not restricted to it, but this relic was restricted to it, where, again, imagine this relic was open up to PvP. Like, you know how sick that would have been if she worked on Goddess team in PvP? Obviously, she won't be the best, but she would be a really cool team to run, and she would at least have more of a use case than what little crap she was kind of subsided to. You literally gave her a Ragnarok passive, and then you just don't release Ragnarok units, so she just sucks. Like, you couldn't release her at any other time. You released her right after you just released the two most game-breaking units, where no one wanted to even use her, because she can't. You really can't, right? So, honestly, it was a very weird play with how they handled the relic, but it does open up a field of where they could do some good stuff with some of the leftover characters, and even future characters. Is it going to be relic-based, where you go and open up the passive? So yeah, just want to talk about that real quick here today, and just bring it up to you that that's like what they did out of nowhere. Out of what Sigurd released how many months ago? Almost a year and 6 months, let's say that, and they haven't released a single dual unit, dual race passive or whatever in any capacity, and now they did it randomly with this. So it opens up a relevant possibility, though I think they won't use it unless they need to screw you again. So there is that.